Okay, hello. Um, Welcome to your restorative practice. I'd like you to get all of your cozies as usual, which means pillows, blankets, even getting into bed. Uh, Chair could be an option, wall space could be an option. I'll show you how those could be options in a moment. We're going to do a little bit of, we've been doing this for some time now, some pelvis, hip, because it's this whole compartment, right? When you think about the pelvis connected to the hips and the low back. So this whole lower body, sort of lower part of the trunk compartment is what we're going to continue to work on today. And we're going to start off just simply lying down on our backs. And the next shape that we take will be a figure four, and I'm going to give you an option to do figure four at the wall or with your leg on a chair if you want a really nice, lovely passive figure four for a hip opener. So just keeping that in mind if you want to be close to the wall or if you want to go grab a chair and then meet me on your back. And once you do come to your back, wiggle your shoulders down so they're not scrunched up towards your ears. Kind of tilt the chin in towards the chest so that the back of the neck is nice and long. Take your arms out a little bit wider, let your palms face up towards the ceilings. Feel that how that changes the sense in the collarbone and the chest. It's a little bit more broad, a little bit more open in the heart and in the rib cage. And if you feel comfortable closing your eyes here, you can go ahead and do so. Start to just notice the breath. Without really trying to control the breath or force it to do something, just notice, how are you breathing today? How does the breath feel right now? Can you use your exhalation to find a little bit more release, a little bit more softness in the body? Feeling your shoulder blades relax, your elbows and your arms soften. And there's like this weight to the body. Can you really allow yourself to feel weighted and heavy? So we'll take these first few moments of class to allow the body to settle, allow the mind to settle into the body. You're searching out these places of sensation, noticing where you feel and how you feel, to allow yourself to arrive here, to be present. Let's take about 5 more breaths. See if you can take a little bit longer to inhale and to exhale. So slow the breath down. All right, so we'll start to bend the knees and plant the feet. We're going to set up our first shape. Like I mentioned, this is going to be figure 4. And you can do this on a chair by just placing the left calf against the edge of the chair and crossing that right ankle on top of the upper left knee so that you're really passively releasing the muscles and getting that passive stretch here. You could also scoot close enough to the wall so that the sole of the left foot can just rest into the wall, right? And then in the absence of those two props, you can just start out here resting that left foot on the mat with, again, the right ankle crossed on top of the upper left thigh towards the knee. And if you're on your back on your mat and you want to hug the knees in, you can reach through. You could interlace the hands around the shin bone or the back of the thigh. But to the best of your ability, if you're taking that active bind with the hands, can you relax your shoulders, relax your chin, keep the neck neutral and long, and just breathe into the sensation along the outer right hip. Maybe you come back to having the eyes closed. You can have the eyes closed this entire practice if you wish. This is a practice of introspection where you're allowing yourself to become aware of your body in space and time and how it feels and what you were doing and why you were doing it. Be here for one more minute. Do your best to continue to breathe deeply. Continue to relax your shoulders, your neck, your elbows, your hands, particularly if you're taking this bind with the hands around the left leg. We're going to start to release that. If the left foot's like at the wall or on a chair, or if you had the bind, just replace that left foot to the mat. Keep your figure four. Okay. So if you need to scoot away from the wall or move the chair away, do so. Keep your figure four, your right ankle on top of your left thigh. Sole of the left foot planted. We're just going to rock this side to side. So you're going to roll to the outer and inner edge of the left foot. You're turning your pelvis, you're rotating side to side. And as you do this, as you pass right to left with this figure four arrangement, you might notice different sensations in the low back, in the glutes, in the hip compartment. Can be a big movement, can be a small movement. Couple more times right to left. You're going to take this figure four off to the left side. So chest will stay broad towards the ceiling, arms, shoulders relaxed on the floor. Outer left leg relaxes towards your left. Sole of the right foot, maybe it plants on the floor or a block or a pillow or a folded blanket. If the floor feels really far away, you can just slide something right underneath that right foot. Same thing with the outer left knee too. If it doesn't naturally come to the floor, support it with the prop. Start to adjust yourself so that you can settle into stillness here. Find ease in the body. Where there's not ease, notice what kind of sensation is it. So could you describe it with an adjective like achy or dull or sharp or shooting? The sharp shooting sensations are the kind of things that I want you to use props or back out of to avoid completely. And the dull achy things are things that, if it's bearable, can you breathe into it? So no effort here. See where you can relax all muscles, even the bones, even the skin. Relax. Can you use your breath like that meditative metronome, the in, the out, to keep guiding you back to this practice of stillness and of being present? Take one more breath here. We're going to tip this figure 4 back up to center. So just take your time with that. You're rolling to the back of your pelvis. You're still going to keep this figure 4. We've got one more thing with that right ankle on top of left thigh. But just take a moment. You might even press into that left foot, lift up your pelvis, just kind of reset. And if you need a little bit of a release for the lumbar spine, you can tilt the pelvis forward and backward a few times. Now, we're going to go in the opposite direction with our figure 4 we just went. So listen, the left foot is going to walk towards the left side of the mat. Left foot walks left, maybe even off of the mat. And then you're keeping that figure 4 as you tip that whole thing to the right side now. Okay, so basically you're in this twist with this little added pressure of that right ankle on top of the outer left thigh. And if that's too much for the knee joint, just release the right ankle to the mat. So feet are wide, knees are pointing off to the right. Either way, with or without the bind. Check in with the shoulders, the arm bones, the neck, the throat. And then find that breath again. So you keep coming back to the breath. Do your best to find that stillness and settle in and let this melting heaviness move over your body. Let's take one more deep breath in. Deep breath out. And then slowly bring your knees back through center. If you still have that right ankle crossed, uncross it so both of your feet are flat on the mat. And then you can either walk your feet wide, let your knees knock in towards one another, or stretch out through your legs, let them go long. We're going to take a full minute to pause in between sides. So we're going to do all of that whole little sequence on the second side. But let's let everything kind of integrate back through center before we head off to the next thing. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And maybe you open your mouth, exhale the air out. A couple more rounds of breath like that, inhaling and exhaling. All right, so second side, we'll bend our knees and plant the feet. Left ankle will cross on top of right thigh towards the knee. And you can choose to bring that chair back underneath that right calf or scoot back towards the wall if you want to rest the sole of the foot into the wall. Or you can simply stay with your figure four as it is, the sole of the right foot plants. I know I'm giving you a lot of options here, but the hip compartment, the knee compartment, very individual in terms of what our needs are. So taking care of yourself is important. And then finally, you could also take a bind. You could reach forward, grab a hold of the back of that right thigh or top of right shin. Again, if you're choosing that option of binding, I'd like your shoulders to stay relaxed. I'd like the back of your head to be heavy, the throat to be soft. So there's not a lot of effort in the upper body here. We're working with the legs. We're working with the pelvis. We're working with the low back. Upper body just gets to take a break. And you find your breath here. Let it be soft. Let it be rhythmic. Let it be just a little bit slower. Take about 5 more deep, slow belly breaths here. When you're ready, you're going to set that right foot back to the mat. So whatever you need to do to make that happen, do it. Keep your figure 4. Just take a moment to adjust. So you might even pick up the pelvis, kind of tuck the tailbone under, and let the low back release. A few pelvic tilts might feel good. Now we're going to start to take this figure 4 side to side. You're rolling to the inner and outer edge of the right foot. This is something we're going to do to warm up that rotation in both directions. Again, it can be a big or small movement. Let your body guide you. Let the sensation from the body help you make these decisions. A few more times side to side. If you know you're going to need props off to your right side, you can start to slide them over because the right leg, outer right leg, is going to come all the way down to a relaxed position on its side. Sole of the left foot plants onto something tangible, whether it be the floor or a prop. Chest stays open towards the ceiling. Maybe the arms spread out wide. That feels good. To the best of your ability, just relax the upper body. Settle back into stillness. Find that rhythmic breath. We will take about 5 more deep, slow breaths here. Yeah, nice and slow. When you're ready, you can start to unwind out of that, come back to neutral, keeping your figure 4 if you can. Sole of the right foot plants. And then again, if you would like a few pelvic rocks to release any tension in the lumbar spine, you could do that. It's just a simple tip forward to the tailbone. So the low back curls away from the floor. And then I like to press the low back flat into the mat. And once that feels like, okay, I can add on to that, we're going to walk that right foot off to the right foot off to the right, even maybe outside of the mat. And so the feet will stay wide here as you tip this whole figure four off to your left, both knees pointing towards the left. Again, the upper body, not a lot today, just staying open towards the ceiling. Shoulders relaxed, arms heavy. And if keeping that bind with that left ankle on top of the right thigh is too much on the knee joint, again, just release it. And find your place of stillness, whatever it looks like, whatever kind of props you want to add. I didn't say this on the first side, but you could always slide some props underneath the inner right knee, so it's not hanging out in space if that's bothering the knee joint. As you hold this shape for time, you might notice how there's different layers of sensation. Things, however minuscule they may seem from the outside, start to shift or melt or release. Take about 3 more deep, slow breaths here. In your own time, start to release, come back through center. Take it slow and uncross that left ankle when you are ready. We're going to settle right into our Shavasana. So if your low back needs some support, I recommend sliding a prop right underneath the backs of the knees so that the lumbar spine can really lengthen out here. As usual, we'll take at least 1 whole minute, and I encourage you to take longer if you have, to just rest in Shavasana. Relax the shoulders, soften the back teeth, let the tongue widen at the base of the mouth. Let the eyes close if you can. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Let it go, let it rest. Shavasana. Two more breaths. I encourage you to stay longer if you need to move on. Start to wiggle through your fingertips and your toes. You can move your head side to side. You can reach your arms overhead and breathe into the length of the body if that feels good. And when you're ready, off to a side fetal position, a full breath. press up to a seat. We'll just take a few moments to close out our practice. And so allow yourself to support your seat so that your spine can grow tall with ease. If you'd like, you can stack your hands flat against the heart, feel the beating of your chest. Maybe you bow your chin in, maybe you close your eyes in reverence and gratitude for the practice. May you remember that you will always be okay. May you find a white light that guides you and keeps you safe. May you have hope, help, and happiness along the way. Namaste, yogis. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed your practice. Come back again soon and take care of yourselves in the meantime.